As long as I can remember, I have always been a fan of ninjas. From watching Naruto on Toonami late at night, I still think Kakashi is one of the coolest anime characters ever, to dressing up as a ninja for every Halloween. You could say I was obsessed at being a ninja and living that fantasy. But playing pretend and running around in your ninja costume from Halloween is only so fun for so long. I tried finding purpose in my ninja toys and having them fight each other and just getting after it all those days. But I soon realized that I needed more. I was 10 around the time of this realization, and a little game called Samurai Warriors would come out. This game would allow me to play as a ninja and fight hordes of enemies and just truly living out that fantasy of being a ninja and beating the crap out of dudes. But little did I know, when I booted up Nioh 3, this core memory would come back to me and just slap me in the face and just remind me of why I fell in love with video games in the first place. Video games are not only an escape from reality and the hardships that it has, but also giving you a chance to live out a fantasy that you've had since you were a child. And that, my friends, is what Nioh 3 did for me. And I want to let it be known, I understand that Nioh is nothing like Samurai Warriors or Dynasty Warriors or any of those types of games in any way, shape, or form. Nioh is through and through a Souls-like game that has punishing combat, enemies that hit like a truck, and one of the best combat systems ever made. The thing that reminded me of Samurai Warriors was the characters that you meet throughout this story. From Hanzo the Ninja, which is the one that I played as in the Samurai Warriors games, to Honda Tadakatsu, who's also a playable character in Samurai Warriors. And this nostalgia just kept hitting over and over again. And on top of all that nostalgia, I was playing a game that had such good combat that I was having a hell of a good time doing it. And like, I don't think that I can express how much fun I really was having with this combat in this game, because I just kept going and going. I just kept getting to a point in the game where I was like, all right, I'll just beat this one boss. Oh, I'll explore this one thing. And eventually it just was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was just walking away from that, not just tired, but full of like giggles and happy because I just had a great experience playing Nioh 3. And so because I've had such a hell of a good time playing this game, I just wanted to talk about it and tell you guys all about it and why it's cool, why it's a game that I think you should pick up, especially if you're a Souls-like fan. I mean, this is just the Japanese samurai ninja version of Souls-like games that's just so badass. And so with that, let's get into the nitty-gritty of why I think Nioh 3 is a game that you should pick up. And the first thing we got to talk about is the story of Nioh 3. You play as a character who's about to become shogun when his jealous brother betrays him and unleashes these evil demons called yokai into the world. After finding out about this betrayal and almost being killed by your brother, you are sent back in time to essentially fix the warped timeline that's going on because the yokai have been unleashed. And while that makes for an interesting starting point for this game, I never really found myself going, oh, this story is freaking awesome, because, you know, it was just kind of a generic story for me. But you want to know what? I think that Nioh 3 knocked it out of the park with the combat and the open world that they've built here. And so let's get right into the world real quick and just talk a little bit about what's in it, what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be exploring it, and some of the little side activities that you might enjoy. And so first and foremost, I did want to mention that there are some comparisons to the Nioh open world to the Elden Ring open world, and I feel like this comparison is not fair to the Nioh open world because it's not trying to be a world that you're become so immersed in that you're just lost in the lore and the things and you wonder what happened here, but it's more of a thing where you have a bunch of combat zones that are broken up across an open world that have different paths of getting to those places, and along those paths you'll fight optional bosses, you'll find secret pathways to different loot, and also you'll find these weird spirit animals that essentially are either a ball or flying in the air, and you have to kind of like either follow them or shoot them down. And after you follow them or shoot them down, you're followed with this really cute fun animation that just makes it really fun to find these guys. And on top of those guys, there's these little green dudes that are living around the world, and essentially they are just lost, and all you do is you bend over, you point a direction, and you're like, yeah, go home, and then it counts as catching them. And so I just think that's so funny in the open world to have something like that. And it's not like all you're going to be doing is finding collectibles. There are things for combat such as crucibles, there's enemy bases that you can clear out, and so you really get this good mix of combat and exploration, finding things, just getting that really good dopamine hit, you know what I mean? And so if you're looking for an open world that's not too complicated, but also has a lot of things going on in it, I would say the Nioh 3 open world is fan-freaking-tastic. And next, we gotta for sure talk about this combat. The combat here in Nioh is a very complex system of different weapons, different styles, and then within those styles, different stances and ninja abilities. And if that sounds overwhelming to you, I want to tell you it was very overwhelming for me. But my hope is that I can break it down in simple terms, but not take too long talking about it. And so the way that this combat is broken up is you have two different styles that you can swap between at will. The first style is samurai, the second style is ninja. Samurai style is slower and more deliberate than ninja style. It demands that you learn and master the three different stances that are available to you. Those three stances are high stance, low stance, and mid stance. Each stance has its own purpose in combat and is used in specific scenarios. For example, if you have an enemy that's throwing out a lot of attacks and you're trying to block and parry them, you're going to want to drop your stance into low stance so that you have higher defensive capabilities. Whereas if you just broke the stance of an enemy, you're going to want to deal a lot of damage. And so in this instance, you'd want to switch to high stance because you'll deal a lot more damage in this stance, but your attacks are slower. And then when it comes to the medium stance, it's more of like the in-between everything, right? It has good attack power, but it also has good defensive capabilities, but it's not the best at either one. And the last thing to note when it comes to the samurai style is this thing called ki pulse. Essentially, every time you do an attack, you do a dodge, your stamina bar will go down. And in other Souls-like games, there's not really a fast way to recover your stamina in any way, shape, or form. But with Nioh, in the samurai style, if you drain your stamina with attacks or dodges, you have a chance to recover that stamina right away if you hit the ki pulse button correctly at the right time. And the right time is usually right after an attack. You'll lose that stamina, but if you hit the correct button right after, you'll gain that stamina back. And I gotta say, I am not very good at the samurai style. And my reason for that is that in a lot of the Souls-like games that I play, and most video games that I play as like a rogue. So I like moving quick. I like being able to do a lot of attacks at once. I like being able to move, dodge, weave, do all those fun things. But in the samurai stance, I am punished hardcore for button mashing. And I know what you guys are gonna say, that's a skill issue, and you would be 100% correct. And you know what? I don't care because I'm having a hell of a good time with Nioh 3 anyways. And so now this leads us to the real thing that really brought up my childhood memories, and that's the ninja style. Ninja style is the complete opposite of what samurai style is. Instead of focusing on hard, deliberate, slow hitting attacks, ninja style focuses on hit and run tactics that essentially you get in there, you do tons of damage, as much damage as you can by doing a bunch of attacks, and then you evade and you get out of there to then start throwing ninjutsu items at the enemies. And while your attacks don't take down as much health, it does damage their stamina a lot more than the samurai attacks do. And this is important because if you get the enemy's stamina all the way down, then they become stunned and you can do tons of damage on them. And where the samurai style stands out with its stances, the high, low, and medium, ninja style sets itself apart by the ninjutsu tools that you can use and also the ability to dodge without using up stamina if you land a hit on an enemy. And so when I'm playing in the ninja style, I really truly do feel like a ninja because I have all these tools at my disposal. I'm dodging left and right, I'm getting in, doing tons of damage, and then backing out. And so you just get this really good fantasy fulfilled when it comes to the ninja experience here in Nioh 3. And I gotta say, I am actually very good at the ninja style in this game. It just fits the play style that I have, and it's just so epic to kind of be able to just play exactly how I want and then bounce to the samurai style when I need it. And that's where the craziness comes in for this game. And what I mean by this is, yeah, you could probably play as a specific style the whole time through, so you could play as the samurai all the way through, or you could play as the ninja all the way through, but there are just enemies that are just built different. And if you're sitting there trying to play as just one style, you are gonna get your ass kicked. These enemies and bosses will steal your girlfriend, take all your money, and ride off in your car because they are just that badass. And so you really do need to learn how to use the different styles because you are just going to get all sorts of messed up if you don't. And to me, this is where the strength lies in this combat because you have to kind of learn two different play styles, and it just makes you think on the fly through all of the different move sets that you have for all of your different weapons that you have equipped, on top of learning how to use that specific stance or ninjutsu or dodging or anything like that, and it just makes for this really fun like mental game that you got going on while you're fighting these enemies. And it's not just I go in, I hit, I dodge. No, it's like you're like switching stances to like stun people, you're switching stances to block, you're switching stances to do damage, you're switching stances to do all sorts of shit. And so it just makes for this really fun gameplay loop that is extremely addictive. And so now you know Nioh 3 has a great open world that's just fit for exactly what Nioh's trying to do, and amazing combat that makes you feel so badass in so many different instances. But now you gotta ask yourself the question, is this game for me? And I gotta say, playing Nioh 3 has been some of the most fun that I've had in such a long time. Like I literally, like I said earlier in the video, walked away late at night, 3 a.m. giggling because I was having so much fun playing this game and feeling like a freaking ninja. And so if you're looking for a game that has a big open world, that has lots of fun bosses to fight, good exploration, and amazing combat, then I would 1000% recommend this game for you. And also for you guys who love Souls-like games and the way that they play, I think that Nioh is a game that you should give a try, because for a lot of you, I think this game would hit. And so with that, I gotta get back to playing Nioh 3, and I hope to see you there.